All right, we're back. And thanks to everyone who dropped back in from the other side of the earth. And this has been a daily occurrence with Streamlabs this week. I'm going to try re-downloading the whole thing. Probably later today. What I've noticed too, every morning when I come in and I set up the stream, usually you have the thumbnail from the day before as an option, and it hasn't quite changed. So we'll see if we can figure that out. It seems to go down the same time every day too. And so Streamlabs doesn't like you talking about 100. No, just Streamlabs doesn't like anything. It's been 3 days in a row. So I might have to re-download the whole thing today, and hopefully the settings will still match, and we'll figure that out. But it's becoming a pain in the ass to do this every day. All right, let's get into what else. I was talking about Hunter Biden being deposed on Thursday. I don't know what it's about, and I'm not 100% sure. But here's a story on the Federalist. Oh, thank you, tall person, for dropping a deuce in the tip jar on Rumble. Happy International Cap Locks Day. Is that really? That's funny. That is a funny one. Okay, Happy International Caps Locks Day, and he did it in all caps. So I appreciate that. I'm assuming this is running on Rumble. Yes, it is still running on Rumble because it restarts. But whatever happens on YouTube, clearly, well, it's not YouTube. It locks up in Streamlabs, and then I have to reset Streamlabs. So it's not even just YouTube. It's Streamlabs itself. So we'll have to fix that. Anyway, all right. So he's going to be deposed under oath on Thursday. Unlike the criminal investigation into Hunter Biden's conduct, this time his father's administration won't be able to protect him. Hunter Biden will face hours of questioning under oath on Thursday when he sits for a deposition in the civil case brought by the owner of a computer repair shop where he abandoned his laptop. The deposition represents the first time the president's son will be forced to confirm he owned the laptop that contained a cache of emails incriminating the Biden family in a pay-to-play scandal. And unlike the criminal investigation into Hunter's conduct, this time his father's administration won't be able to protect him. Hello, Brent Hayes. What's up? Last October, John Paul Mac Isaac, the owner of the computer repair shop in Wilmington, Delaware, where Hunter Biden abandoned his so-called laptop from hell, filed suit against Hunter Biden, among others, alleging defamation. The Hunter Biden attorneys countered with claims against Mac Isaac, alleging the store owner had committed several invasion of privacy torts by sharing the data recovered from the laptop. In filing the counterclaim and the answer and the defenses to Mac Isaac's defamation lawsuit, Hunter Biden claimed he lacked knowledge sufficient to admit or deny the allegations, that the laptop was his, and that he dropped it off at the repair shop. On Thursday, however, Hunter will be under oath and unable to allow his attorneys to obfuscate on his behalf. One of the first questions posed to the president's son will be whether he left the MacBook at the repair shop and signed the agreement stating that the equipment left with the Mac shop after 9 days of notification of completed service will be treated as an abandoned item, and you shall agree to hold the Mac shop harmless for any damage or loss of property. So anyway, they have a few questions they think that should be asked. Is this your signature? Does it look like your signature? Did you have the MacBook? Did you have Biden Foundation sticker? Did it break? Did you ever visit the area of Wilmington? What about the store? Where did you live at the time? If an expert identifies this as your signature, do you have any basis to challenge that conclusion? And they have a bunch of other questions, but anyway, so that's interesting. So he's going to have to testify, complete a deposition on his laptop, which probably isn't going to go well. I'm just saying. So yesterday we talked about this leaked document, this leaked tape of Donald Trump, what they say admitting that he did something against the law, or that he was admitting that he talked about classified documents that he supposedly said he didn't have, blah, 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 blah. And one of the things I said yesterday, hello, Bueller, is that leaked tape that was all over CNN? How the hell did CNN get it? The only people who could have leaked it were someone in the Justice Department and in what's his name, Smith's office, right? Jack Smith, hello, paging Jack Smith. Well, Donald Trump's lawyers seem to have the same sentiment. There better be some consequences. Trump attorney says DOJ leaked classified doc tape to CNN. An attorney for former President Donald Trump said Tuesday that the Justice Department leaked a tape of Trump discussing an allegedly classified document to This is CNN. Here's the good news. We know who leaked it, and that's the DOJ because I didn't have it. The DOJ did. They keep everything close to their chest until they realize they're losing it. So when they leak something and tell the American people, listen to what he said, Alana Habba told Fox News Tonight host Lawrence Jones, well, let's think about what he said. He said what the Presidential Record Act says the president has the right to declassify documents. Who doesn't? A non-president, a senator like Joe Biden, when he had classified documents and took them out 30 years ago, and had no right to do it. Then CNN aired a 2-minute audio tape of Trump on Monday, which we listened to part of it yesterday, during which he discussed his ability to declassify documents with unidentified people, blah, 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 blah. So and then they go into the details that he was arraigned in Miami and yada, yada. So anyway, let's see what is this here. Oh, I'm not listening to 4 minutes of this. Anyway, so it's interesting, though. How did CNN just happens to get a leaked tape that's supposed to be evidence against Donald Trump from the Justice Department? You know, the Justice Department was so good at not leaking stuff, I thought. Well, they sure did now. Wait, what's 30? Agent Smith? Yeah. Agent Smith, like in Men in Black. All right. Oh, and also, this is interesting. So maybe if you hadn't heard about this, I don't think I talked about this yesterday. The prosecution team for the Justice Department in this Donald Trump case was trying to submit a list of witnesses that they were going to call against Donald Trump, right? And the defense, the prosecution in this case was trying to have this list of witnesses sealed under court order, right? And they also wanted to keep the names of apparently a couple of the witnesses away from the defense team of Donald Trump, which is hilarious because, you know, you can't do that in a court. And also there was an issue of whether or not the attorneys were going to be able to see some of the so-called classified documents that they claim they have, which means they would have to work on the classification for these attorneys. But the judge in this case, as far as the idea of sealing the witness list, has said, get the hell out of here. I'm not doing that. Judge, no, I'm not sealing list of witnesses Trump can't communicate with yet. The government motion, okay, here it is. Let's go down. It'll explain it here. When Donald Trump was arraigned in the Florida Mar-a-Lago records case, one of the conditions of the bond was that he not communicate with witnesses on a list provided to the defense by the prosecution. The prosecution then filed a motion to have the list filed under seal in court, as mentioned in our post a couple days ago, which I did not read. The DOJ request for the delay of Trump Florida trial had nothing to do with strength or weakness of the case. Oh, wait, we did go through that a little bit. But anyway, so a coalition of news organizations filed in court today to prevent the list from being sealed, arguing that it was in the public interest that the names not be kept secret. That coalition includes CNN, this is CNN, which is Cable News Network, Inc., Advanced Publications, American Broadcasting Companies, ABC News, basically, the Associated Press, Bloomberg, and a whole bunch of others, right? Whole bunch of others. Now, here's what they argued. This case, the first prosecution of a former president of the United States, is one of the most consequential criminal cases in the nation's history. The American public's interest in this matter and need to monitor its progress every step of the way cannot be overstated. The filing of the list of potential witnesses in this case is a highly significant initial step in this early extraordinary prosecution. It will mark the first time that the court has instructed the government to inform Trump of the identities of the persons who may offer testimony that prosecutors believe will incriminate him. At the same time, Trump's counsel has made clear that many of these witnesses are longtime acquaintances and staffers, and he will now be forbidden on pain of contempt from discussing this case with them. The list is not trivial, and the process or the defendant, not trivial to the process or the defendant. In fact, along with the public indictment, it reflects a turning point from which the secrecy of the grand jury investigation of the public administration of justice, invoking the highest level of power in American government. If the public right to oversee judicial proceedings is to mean anything, it mandates that the public have full access to the judicial records of these proceedings, starting with this court-ordered witness list. So the judge basically said, fuck you. You're not getting your little sealed list where it's going to be open to the public and everyone's going to know who's going to be testifying. So there you go. All right. Next, what else do I got? Apparently Senate committee lawmakers blame the DHS and the FBI for January 6th security failures. Now, this is interesting because apparently I don't see the word Capitol Police there. You know, the people that is it Capitol Police? They have their own police force. They didn't blame any of them. Anyway, senators from the Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee became the latest on Tuesday to report U.S. Capitol security failures on January 6th, alleging that the federal law enforcement agencies had downplayed numerous tips threatening violence ahead of the 2020 presidential election. In a 106-page report by the committee titled Planned in Plain Sight, a majority of the staff said the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security's Office of Intelligence and Analysis were aware of online posts as early as December 2020 that posed threats to Capitol Hill that day, yet failed to sound the alarm with other law enforcement. Now, as I read this, is it just me, or are they, by saying that they were aware of online threats or posts, whatever, of possibilities, of potential, that posed threats to Capitol Hill that day, yet failed to sound the alarm with other law enforcement? Are they enhancing their credibility as far as not being there while people were trying to breach the Capitol building? Or are they saying that they could have prevented it? I'm not sure which. Anyway, so, quote, my report shows there was a shocking failure of imagination from these intelligence agencies, to take these threats seriously, and no question that their failures to effectively analyze and share the threat information contributed to the failures to prevent and respond to horrific attack. I don't have a hard time talking. Sorry, guys. That unfolded at the Capitol, and that's Senator Gary Peters of Michigan. Now, the report comes over 2.5 years after the event that involved approximately 2,000 people, some of whom overturned barricades, clashed with police, and stormed the Capitol in an attempt to stop the 2021 transfer presidential power. Now, as I read this in the Daily Wire, even they get it wrong. Even they get it wrong. Is January 6th the day that you transfer presidential power? Nope. Were they there to protest? they wanted the count to stop. Why? Because they believe there are still cases out there that could possibly overturn the election. Could, but doesn't. That's not the way they say it here. Their attempt to stop the January 2021 transfer presidential power. No, they were stopping the. They were going to try to stop the Electoral College from voting. They wanted to protest that. They wanted them to wait until the last court case went through. At least that was my understanding. That's what they were approaching. I don't know. It seemed to me they were just walking around protesting and having a riot and taking selfies. But yeah, that's the other thing. You only need 2,000 people to overthrow the government. That'd be quite the trick, wouldn't it? Anyway, so then they just have a lot of more background information we don't need. But I'm not doing. I'm having trouble here. Sorry, guys. In a New York subway, apparently there's death threats for wrong pronoun use that appear on the subway line. Now, this is an actual sign. Service information, all times, respect. Let's see. What does that say? 355 days? Anyway, posters threaten. Okay, these are posters that people put up. Posters threatening that those who do not respect trans people will end up with the pronouns was, were, have sprung up on the New York City subway. The posters are part of the Pride Train campaign. No pun intended there. And first launched in 2017 in response to then President Donald Trump promoting Pride Month with insufficient vigor and are being promoted openly on the campaign's Instagram. So here's what the designed to look like service information posters. They warn passengers, quote, no bigotry, hatred, or prejudice allowed at this station at any time, accompanied by messages such as, quote, travel alternative, let go or get dragged, end quote. Quote, no turf allowed on our turf, end quote. Check your lipstick before you come for us. I don't understand that. And respect trans people or your pronouns will be was, were. Interesting. And apparently the Metropolitan Transport Authority is promoting the importance of pride and its message of diversity and inclusion. Well, that doesn't sound very inclusive, does it? Across the transit system with pride posters on display, trains decorated with pride-themed cows, commemorative pride metro cards. Oh, gosh. You know, is there... now, this is a rhetorical question because I know the answer. Is there a point where they've gone, where they could maybe just go too far? Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Yes. It's like, look, we get it. Yay, pride. Yay, hooray. You're happy that you are whatever, whichever one of those letters in the the ever increasing acronym, or not acronym. What is that called? Anyway, the letters in your organization that ever expand. We get it. You're happy that you're one of the whatever it is that you're on that list of letters. Can we just cool it with the everyone must celebrate pride. Everyone must celebrate. No, I refuse. Okay. What did Obama do here? Oh. Apparently Obama criticized Tim Scott. Now, look, it's okay to criticize Tim Scott. Out of touch Obama in massive self-awareness fail. Oh, but because he's you know what? Did you know that of all the living presidents, there is only one whose family does not have a history of owning slaves. Okay. one former president, one living former president, does not belong to a family that has had owned slaves in the past. Do you know who that is? There's only one. Guess who it is? Who is the only president, current living president, who is not the ancestor of a former slave owner? Boom, boom. All right, let's check the answers. Special Can Acid says, tall person first. Tall person says Donald Trump. Judges? Yes, it is Donald Trump. Yay, way to go. You got the answer right. It is Donald John Trump. Avocados Diabli, I am sorry, it is not Jimmy Carter. Let's see, Lord Stanhope got Trump, very good. And then we got Special Can Acid had Trump too, yes. And there's Jen T. Maxey, yes. And let's see, Carter only ever owned peanuts. Correct. Okay, so anyway, yeah, the only living president who's not a relative of a slave owner is Donald Trump. Yes, Obama's family, there's someone in his line, probably on the white side, that owns slaves. But it could have been on the black side. I don't know. There's 3,000 black slave owners. But so there you go. All right. So anyway, so the condescender in chief is at it again. Just weeks after Barack Obama, the descendant of Africans and white people, dared to criticize Tim Scott, the descendant of actual slaves and the son of a state where the Civil War started, for being optimistic about the state of race in America today. The former president weighed in on what he thinks spurs on right-wing populism. Like, we cared what Obama thinks, but in an interview with Christine Amanpour at CNN, Obama said, quote, "It's very hard to sustain a democracy plan. You have such a massive concentration of wealth." Says a man worth over $100 million. He went on to blather about ladders of opportunity and a stronger safety net before concluding that if we don't want to take care of that, that's going to fuel a kind of mostly far-right populism but it can also potentially come from the left, and it's undermining democracy because it makes people feel angry and resentful and scared. Now, first off, with all due respect to the condescender-in-chief, which is none as far as I'm concerned, we're a republic, not a democracy. Second, it's an awfully Marxist argument to pin the problem and solutions solely on economics. But what I want to focus on is Obama's utter lack of self-awareness. After all, if anybody should know about massive concentrations of wealth, well, it is Barry himself. Obama and his wife signed the largest book deal in history, $65 million for their memoirs. The Obama signed a separate production deal with Netflix, worth an estimated $50 million. The Obama's production company, Higher Ground, signed a $25 million deal with Spotify that lasted 3 years. Barack Obama reportedly makes as much as $400,000 per speech, but reportedly made almost $600,000 for speaking at a conference in Colombia. Michelle Obama makes about $200,000 per appearance. The Obamas rent a mansion on Colorama, a neighborhood in Washington, D.C., bought a mansion and estate in Martha's Vineyards, Massachusetts, bought another house in Rancho Mirage, California, and still have their old home in the Hyde Park neighborhood of Chicago. It's going to hell. And in April 2010, then President Obama declared, at a certain point, you've made enough money. Apparently, the Obamas hasn't reached that point yet. So, way to go, Barrio. All right, let's see. I am out of time. So, let me tell you what's in the links so you can be ready to, if you, I don't even know if anyone checks out the links on these days, but I put them in here for your viewing pleasure anyway. Hello Now Watt Studios. That's my friend Wen. How you doing? Oh, by the way, if you want to see, should I put the link to my Instagram in the links today? There's a bunch of wedding pictures of my son's wedding that I put up on Instagram. There's a whole bunch. And I'm not even getting started. These are just the ones that my brother-in-law took, because Laura and I basically put our phones away for the most part during this wedding. Like normally we'd be taking thousands of pictures and tons of video, whatever. And we decided that we would just enjoy the moment. We would just enjoy the moment. You know what I mean? And it's hard. It's, you know, you want to take pictures, but if you just enjoy the moment, let other people take pictures. Now, they had professional photographers and they had a professional videographer who will be sending us many, many pictures. In fact, some of the ones I put on Instagram are from them already. But I'm really glad. In some ways, I regret not taking like video of certain aspects of the wedding, especially when all the kids who used to be in my basement every weekend are all out on the dance floor partying like it's 2015, the year they graduated from high school. But in other ways, I'm just glad that we soaked in the moment the best we could and had fun. And thankfully, like my brother-in-law took a lot of pictures. Other people took pictures and stuff. So we'll get to enjoy those later. But I have been posting a bunch of those on my Instagram, which is Marty's Big Journey, just like my other YouTube channel. If you're interested, I'll link it in the links today if you want to see some of the pictures from the wedding. I was looking damn good too, so I'm pretty proud of myself. So anyway.